Hello and thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. I'm Jurnee Taylor and here are some of the top stories you need to know about at noon. School bathrooms continue to be a political battleground at the state capitol. We're bringing you the very latest on where lawmakers are when it comes to this highly debated bill becoming state law.
How much can COVID infections boost our natural immunity? I'm Tina Kraus with the results of the most extensive study yet.
A new series, America in Black, is coming to a screen near you and seeks to share perspectives on race you've never seen before. We share a closer look at the new series by CBS and BET at 12:21. And the day many of us have waited for is here, Friday. Meteorologist Nathan Scott, how are you feeling on this quite cool day? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jurnee. I feel refreshed. I went home after yesterday's newscast, took a long nap after dealing with the potential severe weather, and today we've got lots of sun. However, it's a little bit on the cool side. Here's visible satellite. The clouds that lingered around the region through the overnight now well into Mississippi. Temperatures are into the mid-40s. It's 45 in Little Rock, 44 in Russellville, 43 in Stuttgart, and 44. Good afternoon to you folks in Arkadelphia. We also have a wind from the north-northwest, about 10 to 20 miles per hour, so it does add a bite to the air, especially if you're in the shade. It feels like this. It feels like the upper 30s in the capital city. It feels like 37 in Clinton, 41 is what it feels like in Monticello. Highs today, a little bit on the cool side for this time of year, upper 40s to lower 50s. But here's a look at your weekend. We'll see a mixture of sunny clouds both Saturday and Sunday. Highs on Saturday, low to mid 50s. But look at Sunday. That is going to be a great day to enjoy the outdoors as highs warm up into the mid, possibly upper 60s. It gets even warmer going into next week. The trade-off is more rain is in the forecast, and I'll have more on those details coming up.
Today, House Bill 1156, also known as the bathroom bill, is now closer to the governor's desk than it was yesterday.
The LGBTQ community is at higher risk not because of their orientation or identity, but because of bullying and stigmatization and laws like these. So this bill will put more kids at risk.
The Senate tabled it to change how it's written, with some lawmakers fearing the wording could possibly be misinterpreted. The bill states students must use the bathroom of the gender listed on their birth certificate, and it also addresses sleeping arrangements for students on school trips. That last bit was the focus yesterday, and the bill will be amended before it's back on the Senate floor. And a new bill just introduced in the House would revise child labor laws here in the natural state. It's known as the Youth Hiring Act. If it becomes law, parents will have the right to decide if kids under 16 years old can work. As it stands, kids 15 and under have to go get permission from the state. The Public Health, Welfare, and Labor Committee are working on it right now. A high-profile trial is delayed. It's the trial of Little Rock Ward 2 Director Ken Richardson. Thursday, his lawyer asked for a continuance, which the judge allowed. Richardson is facing charges on battery, obstructing operations, and resisting arrest after a car crash. He waived his right to a jury, so the judge will rule on his guilt. The trial will begin July 13th. After almost 10 years, a jury finds an Arkansas man guilty in the death of his 6-year-old son. Mauricio Torres of Benton County was arrested in 2015 after abusing the child during a camping trip. The boy died the next day. Torres appears in court for sentencing today. We hope to have updates tonight at 5 and 6. Meanwhile, Josh Duggar's lawyers are arguing for his conviction to be overturned. They were in an appeals court Thursday. In 2021, a jury convicted Duggar in federal court in Fayetteville for possessing child sexual assault materials. His lawyers say some evidence in the case should have been dismissed. Duggar is serving more than 12 years in prison for the crimes. The appeals court hasn't indicated when they'll issue a decision. The Morgan Nick docu-series called Still Missing Morgan is now on Hulu. If you're unfamiliar, 6-year-old Morgan Nick vanished from a Little League game in Alma, Arkansas in 1995. Nearly 30 years later, police are still searching for answers and following leads. Arkansas native Devon Parks is the director of the series. Parks followed Arkansas and federal officers for several months as they investigated the case. The docu-series has an in-depth look inside the open case and reveals new details from law enforcement and the Nick family. Now the story of one university's push to raise the playing field for incoming freshmen. THV 11's Michaela Johnson joins us now with how grant money is making that possible for the University of Central Arkansas.
As a low-income college student myself, I know that it really helps to have a team there to help you.
$1.6 million from the U.S. Department of Education is going to building that team at the University of Central Arkansas.
We really focused the grant on staff.
Hired staff will form Bear Life, which will be a 5-year program for UCA's first-time low-income students. On hand, Bear Life will have a director, professional counselor, full-time admin, a graduate assistant, and 3 peer guides.
We think about the questions that they should be asking, maybe even before they think about those questions. We are preparing things, putting things in place for them before they even arrive to help them kind of transition through college.
That transition, according to Nadia Esslinger, appointed director of Bear Life, strongly impacts first-generation students.
We may not have people at home who can say, oh, you need to go talk to the registrar, or you need to call your academic advisor.
This group went through COVID. They did a lot of online, and now when they hit campus, it's a little different.
Julia Wynden-Fay says this shows in UCA's retention rates for low-income first-gen students.
Our first-year retention rates for this group are lower than our non-Pell eligible, and our graduation rates are lower than for our non-Pell eligible students.
Bear Life is directly targeting those students, which make up 40% of UCA's incoming freshman class each year.
Any student who fills out FAFSA, their financial aid application, and they qualify as Pell eligible, they qualify to be a part of the program.
The program's purpose hits home for both Nadia and Julia.
Remembering where we struggled.
College would have felt different for me if I had a program like this.
In Conway, Michaela Johnson, THV 11 News.
And the money from the federal government will also go towards funding for 50 low-income students to take part in the Summer Bridge program at UCA, making sure these students get off on the right foot. U.S. military officials say they have now concluded recovery operations of the suspected Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina. Today, we now know more about 3 aerial objects that have been shot down in North America over the last 2 weeks. President Biden saying he believes that the objects spotted near Alaska, Canada, and Michigan were not for spying.
The intelligence community's current assessment is that these 3 objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation or research institutions studying weather or conducting other scientific research.
Now, the president believes they're likely not related to China's spy balloon program, unlike the large orb that floated over the U.S. before being shot down off South Carolina's coast earlier this month. China still denies that the balloon was used for spying. President Biden says he hopes to speak to the Chinese president about what happened. And just 3 weeks after the nation saw the disturbing footage of Tyree Nichols' violent arrest, 5 former Memphis police officers pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges. Nichols' mother and stepfather were in the courtroom with their attorney, Ben Crump. Bradley Blackburn reports.
The 5 former Memphis police officers appeared in the courtroom for the first time, more than a month after the death of Tyree Nichols.
At this time, we waive the formal reading of the indictment off to the court, a plea of not guilty.
The 29-year-old died in a hospital just 3 days after being pulled over and brutally beaten by the black officers in an incident caught on camera. All 5 have since been fired and now face a range of charges, including second-degree murder.
We want something here statewide to make sure that we have a state law that codifies duty to intervene, duty to render aid, duty to de-escalate.
Nichols is the latest police-involved death to spark nationwide outrage and protests.
I'm waiting for this nightmare basically that I'm going through right now. I'm waiting for somebody to wake me up.
The Nichols family and their attorneys have also raised questions about police culture and training.
I know my son is gone. I know I'll never see him again. But we have to start this process of justice right now.
The 5 officers involved in Nichols' death are all out on bond. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
And the officers are due back in court on May 1st. 2 other Memphis police officers have also been relieved of duty as a result of the attack, as well as 3 fire department's EMTs who responded to the scene. Well, research shows that COVID-19 infection provides protection against future illness. We show how much natural immunity you get from a case of COVID at 12:15. But first, Nathan, how is our weather outlook?
Well, you see right there, RView 11 showing nothing but blue skies here in downtown Little Rock, and that's a story across central Arkansas. It's going to be a nice weekend with more clouds, but temperatures will be warming up. Next week, though, the weather is more unsettled. I'll have more on the timing of our next chance of rain coming up.